Just from what I know from the last year, talking to players and coaches, there's so many, probably 100 major league players that listen to this stuff every day. So if you want to maybe do something that you think could change mentally your kids' approach to the game, here's an opportunity to pick it up, because otherwise you got to get it online, and it's going to have to be shipped to you by carrier pigeon or whatever they do with these things. And but Steve's got them back, just a reminder about that. Also, one more reminder about your rooms. If you've got to get out by noon, you can bring your stuff down here and store it in the back. About 5 days ago, we found out that we had to fill in a session this morning, so John and I decided to do some stuff with Infield today. And we're not going to talk about fielding, basically how do you field the ground ball, and how do you throw, how should infield should throw, because you guys have all worked with this, you've all heard stuff before about. We're going to just talk about what we think are some innovative things, some skills, some drills that we can use to help you guys out with infield. Before we do, go to the next slide. Just I want to remind you again about the sponsors that help us do what we do here. Diamond Baseball, the Baseball Ranch, guys like Trevor Bauer, Clayton Kershaw. These are guys that have trained at the ranch. And Ron Wolford, who owns the ranch, is one of our biggest benefactors. Helps us out a lot. He believes in what we do. I brought him over here. Maybe some of you have heard Ron speak at this clinic before in the past, or at the German clinic, or at the French clinic. He's been to a number of clinics here in the Netherlands. He believes in what we do. And he as I said, I'm going to his pitching coaches boot camp next month, and I'm really looking forward to it. I always wanted to go to it. All the top pitching coaches in the colleges in the United States go there, and the speakers are just fantastic. There's guys from all over the country, the leading pitching guys. ABCA, again, I've talked about that before. Our email address or our website is isgbaseball.com. We try to keep it up to date. Unfortunately, I'm the webmaster, and I don't have a lot of time to do that. So, and we don't have money to pay a web person, but I try to keep it as much up to date as I can. One of the initiatives that we've done in recent years, in this last year, we've helped procure $8,000 for the Ukraine Baseball Federation to build a new field just west of their capital city of Kiev in the Ukraine. So that's one thing I've got publicized on our website. We try to, we're going to be doing a lot more with social media and putting on hints every week or whenever I can get to it, coaching hints, other things that are of interest to you as a coach. Our Facebook page, I've got a lot of pictures that I put up in the last couple days. I love it if you guys go to those pictures and tag them with your name. I've got a lot of pictures of the people here in the audience. Try to keep things up to date. Pete Caliander, our vice president, is our social media guy. He's constantly on his smartphone texting. He texted me already this morning. It's got to be about 2 o'clock back in the States. So that's my email address up on top there. Anytime you want to contact me about anything, just shoot me an email. I'll get back to you right away. I go to that thing at least 12 times a day. So that's our stuff. That's all about us. John and I, you ready, John?
Yeah, the only thing I'd also add is there's a bunch of upcoming ISG clinics throughout Europe, you know, and take a look at those and see if you guys are around the area and come in. There'll be different speakers than there are here, so that's a good thing for you. You'll hear different voices, different people, but probably great information for you.
Next month, or not next month, in January, we'll be in Spain, Germany, Switzerland, Austria, Hungary. Am I forgetting anything, John? Those are 5 countries we'll be for sure that will be in Poland. Poland also in January. So we're doing 6 clinics in Europe, just around Europe in January. We're in Curacao and Aruba in 2 weeks. If you want to get a nice little vacation in the sun, come over to the Caribbean. But So just look for information about that. Contact your federation if you want to go to one of those, or contact that nation's federation. I'll also be at the SEED meetings in February. If any of you guys go to that, the European Federation. That's it. John, we ready to go?
You know, go to work. You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Really
Sorry.
quickly, just one basic for me. I know the situation you guys are in. My first job was I was the baseball coach, I was the golf coach, I was the compliance coordinator, I was the strength coach, I was the athletic trainer, and I was the bus driver. I drove the bus to the game and then coached and then jumped back on the bus. I had one coach, I had another guy who volunteered for me. So I get it, all right? So this is what I'm going to tell you. From a sheer use of your time standpoint, it's not about positions, it's about skills, right? It's about skills. So do you need a coach for third base, a coach for shortstop, a coach for second base, a coach for first base, another guy who knows catching? No, as far as I'm concerned, the tools are the same. If I took a great shortstop, Derek Jeter, and I said, hey, you come down to Whitewater, can you play for me a little bit? He can play every place on the field. Every place on the field. So what are we really trying to make and create? The skills, right? I want that high-end shortstop. That's what I want. And the best catcher I've ever coached was a high school shortstop. My first national championship, 7 out of the 8 positions on the field were high school shortstops, including my first baseman, who happened to be a tall, lanky guy who blew out his arm, came back pretty well, but was a tremendous guy. So I guess my point is, I think as we go through these drills, from a mechanical movement standpoint, you're trying to create effective throwers with good feet, good hands, range and reaction time, right? That's what we're trying to do. So it's not too tough to do that. You don't need a specialist. Like I used to go to a catching, I was a college catcher, and there'd be a guy showing them how to throw, different than the shortstop. It's not different. It's the same. When I look at a middle infielder turning a double play, boom, that's the same movement a catcher's making when he's throwing a guy out. So you don't have to feel overwhelmed, right? Because the actions and the positioning and the movements really are ultimately the same. And you guys know that. But so you don't need a guy who's going to teach third base and how do I do things, because throwing on the run's throwing on the run, okay? Are there some changes and differences from positioning? Absolutely. But remember, we're here to talk about skills, not positions.
Okay. I firmly believe that when I do drills or when we do practice every day, I want my kids to be as close to a game situation as possible. So some of you know I've written a book about games that you can play in practice, use in practice instead of drills. I don't like to use the word drills, I'd rather use the word games. I want kids to understand how they do something, not just the skill, but if there's a runner on base, what are they doing? If there's a runner on second base or a runner on third base, what are they doing? I want them to be thinking about the mental part also. So I want the competition there that Steve's been talking so much about. I want competitive players. And so we do it through games. Now a lot of these games I'm going to show you in the next couple minutes are, there's other things involved in it. For example, the first game here, game I use a lot, bunt game. We won 2 state championships on bunts. 2 of the 5 on bunts. Because our kids could execute bunts. But I'm not talking about bunting here. This is a game we play once a week. Every week we play this game. The whole team does. And we divide the team into 2 groups. And they play the same group every time we play this. At the end of the year, we keep score. And we get, it's a point thing. At the end of the year, the losing team buys, on our last road trip, they buy lunch.
Hooters.
Or dinner. Yeah, Hooters. We try to stop at Hooters, right? This is basically the game. We have 4 infielders, a catcher, a pitcher on one team. The other team bats. If you have 15 players, you just divide them 7 and 8. You only put 4 of them in the field, or 5 of them in the field, because you have a pitcher maybe. There's no strikeouts, no walks, no steals. Pitchers have to throw fastballs. Usually I have my coaches do this, and I used to be able to do it until my arm went bad, because coaches aren't trying to strike people out. I don't want my kids pitching against their friend. They're trying to strike them out. This game, the purpose is not to strike out people. It's to learn how to bunt. But the other factor that comes into play is that the infielders in this game, third, second, short, first, they learn what they should be doing during bunt situations. So for example, the game works very simply. And you can talk with me more about this, I'd be glad to explain it in detail. First time up, first batter up has to drag bunt. We drag bunt until we get a guy on first base. So if the first 3 guys drag bunt and they're all thrown out, we switch sides, the next team bats. It's 3 outs, 3 outs per inning. If one of the guys who drag bunts gets on first base, the next batter has to sacrifice bunt. So we're learning bunting skills, right? But we're also learning, and once you get to second base, the next batter has to do a push bunt. If there's a third base, it's an automatic squeeze play. So what are we learning? What are the infielders learning? They're learning when they have a play and when they don't have a play. For example, a third baseman. When does he have a play? When does he not have a play? And he learns this, and so we don't throw the ball away as much as we used to, because we're practicing it all the time. If they know they don't have a play, they hold the ball.
And Tom, there's a lot of times there's mistakes, right?
Right, and there's lots of mistakes, and we stop and we point out the mistake, and then we go back. We do replays. We do a lot of things in this. But what the key is for infielders, they're learning how to react. The second baseman is learning how fast does he have to get over first base. If the first baseman's charging on the bunt, he's got to cover. The shortstop has to cover second if there's a runner on first, for example. So they're learning those skills not just because we're doing okay, let's toss a ball up, I'm hitting a fungo or I'm rolling a ball out. Okay, runner on first, here we go, bunt! You know, and they go through the motions. It's kind of like what John said with the pitcher's fielding practice in spring training yesterday, right? So I don't want them going through the motions. We have guys on base, there's runners going, the infielders have to know how to react. Okay, the catcher has to know if there's a runner on first and a runner on second base, and the ball's, or he's got to know that when the third baseman's covering or fields the ball, he's got to cover third base. And so we're constantly working on all this infielding stuff. Another game we play a lot. I love this one. This is my field. This is how we do PFPs. I always have guys on base. So let's say we'll start out with this one here. You need first baseman, second baseman, catcher, and third baseman. You don't have to have a whole team to do these. And I know for a lot of your practices, you don't have a lot of people. Sometimes you have 6. Sometimes you have 15. Sometimes you have 3. All right, I've been there. I've done 20 years of an envoy program coaching in Europe. And I know how it works. I don't have these false illusions that you all got 20,000 seat stadiums and practice from 1 to 3 every day and that kind of stuff. So we start with the pitcher, runner at second base. Now we can either hit fungos, we can use regular batters too. So I'll hit a fungo. I'll hit a fungo to the pitcher or to the first baseman. Right? If I hit a ball to the pitcher and there's a runner on second base, what does he have to be thinking about? He's got 2 plays, right? Maybe.
Checking the runner.
Checking the runner, going to first, and if the runner's going, does he have a shot at him at third base? Who else is learning here in this situation?
The runner.
Your catcher. Who said catcher? The catcher is learning. Why? Because he's the guy with the big mouth. It's like yesterday, the catchers have to be very vocal. 2, 3, 3, 3, or 1 on 1. You know, he's got to tell the pitcher where to throw. And so I'm working with my catcher during the infield practice for this. When do you know? When should he throw? Don't tell him to throw. How many times have you seen a pitcher? Pitchers don't throw to third base very often, do they? I've seen World Series games. The Detroit Tigers, most famously, and I can't remember. Spring, do you remember? Was Spring still here?
Yeah, he'll be right back.
Okay. The Tigers in the World Series about maybe 10 years ago. Pitcher fields the ball, goes third base down the left field line, 2-run score. All right. Pitchers don't do that very often, so we try to create situations where they do. You don't have to have the runner at second. Put the runner at first. Hit a ball to the first baseman. All right. Pitcher's got to cover first base, or maybe the first baseman's got to start a double play. If he doesn't have the DP, if the ball's not hit hard enough, he's got to learn how to feed the pitcher. All right. So we have runners all the time. I don't like to do infield practice without runners. You know, sometimes we're forced to before a game, but when we're at practice, I want runners on base. Or I'll use a stopwatch. Stopwatch is key too. The average runner, I don't know what it is over here, but I know what it is in the States. And it's probably pretty much the same all over the world. Average right-handed batter from home to first base is how fast? About 4.3, I think, in the States. Left-hander is 4.1, all right? So I start stopwatch when I hit that fungal. Boom, clock starts. We're doing double plays. 4.9. Is that DP? No, the guy goes, shortstop goes second baseman goes first, it's 4.9 seconds. You didn't get that guy. So now with the stopwatch, at least you've got them thinking. It's a pressure situation, it's competition. It gets them game ready. So I like to do this a lot. I was just thinking, Spring, remember the Tigers, I can't remember what the World Series, the pitcher threw the ball, bunt situation?
About 5 of them.
Yeah.
Every one of them made an error.
Right. So this kind of, it doesn't eliminate errors, you're still going to make errors. But at least now you're giving the kids the opportunity to work on the plays with guys on base. And you can do this easily in practice with just 5 or 6 people, all right? Or let a batter do it. Put a batter in the box and you just do soft toss. And tell him he's got to hit a ground ball somewhere. Try to make him hit to the right side. You can be working on hitting runs maybe. Hitting the ball to the right side. So your first baseman's going to have to field it, the pitcher's going to have to cover, or the second baseman's going to field it. No matter what, you're working with infield stuff here. This game I love, and I've taught this all over Europe, and everywhere that I've done it, people still do it. It's called Through the Line. It's basically a hitting game. Originally, it was to get guys who are always, kids are trying to, you hear a lot of talk today about the swing plane, slightly upper, everybody's trying to hit home runs. So you got 4,000 home runs in MLB and about 4,000 strikeouts, right? And so sometimes kids try to jack the ball too much. They try to do too much. So I want them thinking line drives, all right, like Steve said. And I want them thinking. So we put 4 infielders between. I don't know what happened here. This is not the way I did this. But you can kind of see these guys are supposed to be over here somewhere. 4 infielders between first and second, and second and third. You got 3 teams. If you have 12 people, you got 3 teams of 4 guys. And what happened? Now, if you put 4 guys here, your batter's trying to hit the ball down. There's no point. We use point systems, all right? If you hit a line drive, we're trying to hit a line drive. Object of the game, hit line drives right here, through or over the infielders' heads. All right, you can come up with the point system wherever you want. If a guy hits a good hard line drive, maybe it's about 3 feet or a meter over the heads of the infield, give him 3 points. All right. Any fly ball is an automatic out. Over the years, I've changed. If a kid hits it's a long fly, it's a 1-hopper to the fence, I'll give him some points. All right. We use points instead of runs and scoring. But basically, what's happening here is that I don't know why that happened, but the guys. It seems like it's getting further over to every time I do this thing. The guys. The infield, you've got these guys, and I call them infielders in quotation marks because you might have an outfielder there or a catcher there in the middle of the infield. Yeah. And they're really trying to make sure nothing gets through them. Because if it gets through on the ground, it's 1 point. If they make an error fielding it, it's 1 point. You can come up with your own scoring method. And so you got 4 guys on it in that 27 meter space. And what they're really trying to do is make sure the ball does not get through. So they're working on their fielding skills. They're down, they're ready. They're diving. It's amazing what these kids do. They don't want the ball to get through. Everybody bats. If there's only 4 guys, all 4 guys bat. When they're done batting, we shift. So the batters go here, between first and second. These 4 guys come in to hit. These 4 guys shift over here. Just keeps going around in a circle. In 15, 20 minutes, you can get a lot of ground balls hit, a lot of line drives, a lot of fielding practice under sort of like game situations. It's a good fielding, it's a good hitting game, but I also think it's a good fielding game because you got guys trying and really working hard to make things work. This is a drill series we do once a week. And if you want this, I can send it to you. I've got it on it.
Can I just interject?
Sure.
Now, no, let's back up one. think about all the different applications the last game he had you could use for. Indoors, wiffle balls, young kids, go. Wiffle balls, they'll play the heck out of wiffle balls. They're scared of the ball at age 7, 8, 9, 10. You know what, you go indoors, you put a wiffle ball, same game, you can't let it get through. Great thing about wiffle balls, they hang up in the air, they can make plays. All right, so there's a lot of applications, and notice in his description he said infielders. It's not infielders. My outfielders are out there, my catchers are in there. You could play them back at depth. You can move them to double play depth, you can move them in. You can have the catchers have to block. You can have the outfielders have to make a play like they're throwing the guy home at the plate. There's all kinds of variations. Just think about it, apply it, and it's great. It works. Everyone's active. Everyone's doing something, and it teaches the skills you want. If for example, your guys aren't laying out, right? Ground balls and no one wants to dive, right? Then you get a point for just keeping the ball in the infield, which is what we want them to do with a guy on second base anyway, right? Take an angle, keep the ball in the infield, all kinds of applications.
Knock it down,
Great
right.
drill time.
And these guys, you can say, this is like your goalies. Here's your football, your soccer goalies. They're like goalies in here. They don't want to get the ball and let the ball get through. And you can present that way to kids. They love that kind of stuff. Okay, these drills here, real simple. I can give you this. In fact, we'll make sure that this gets put on the website. Guys, how does that work? Nobody's here to tell me.
That's great.
We do these 9 stations take about 5 minutes each, so you can do this in 45 minutes if you've got a whole, but you don't have to have a whole team to do this either. You need a first baseman, second baseman, third baseman, shortstop, etc., catcher, and a pitcher. And if you've got doubles, you put 2 people out there, and you just take turns, all right? The first situation, and I'm not going to go through all these, I'll just go through a couple. You need 3 fungal hitters, basically, for this. See, get a parent. You know what I like to do with parents, especially the ones that are very vocal, why isn't my kid playing and all this kind of stuff? I like to give them a chart and say, hey, could you help me out? This really helps. I've got these quality at-bat charts that I have, situational hitting charts, all right? I give it to the most vocal parent. Can you keep track of, here's what you do. There's little boxes. If the guy goes from 0-2 to a walk, he gets a point for that, right? Or a little hash mark. And I give it to the worst parent, and they all of a sudden they're watching the game a little bit different. They say, well, maybe my son isn't as good as this guy is, or whatever. And I do the same thing here. I can bring a parent on and say, I need somebody to roll bunts to my catchers during this drill because we don't have enough people to hit fungos. If you're the only fungal hitter, then you got to use your other players to help out too. But usually you have at least 2 guys hitting fungos, and you can't hit them at the same time. It's very key. Do not hit these at the same time because you're going to kill somebody. All right? So the pitcher is working. He's getting fungos. He's getting ground balls, fungos from a coach, and he's working on force plays at the plate with the catcher. So we're hitting, and if we can do this, you can do this also with the softer balls, and just really hit shots back at them. And they're learning how to block, throw the ball to home plate for the force play. What's your catcher learning in this situation? And you can work with every infield position this way. What's your catcher learning how to do? What don't they do a lot? He's learning how to be like a first baseman. How did you teach your catchers to do the force play? I have my kids just walk in, walk up to the plate.
You want to be on the inside part of
Yeah.
the plate, right, as a catcher. Inside part of the plate. Usually try to stay somewhat square and then, step into the ball so that you're ready for
Make the throw.
play. But on the inside part of the play, because by the new rules back home, can't hit him, can't clip him anymore. He's inside the baseline and can't go get him. So if he's in the right position, he's also safe, as far as getting injured. So.
All right, so that goes first. Then as soon as the ball is fielded by the pitcher, there's another guy hitting a fungal to the third baseman. Who's throwing? He's fielding the ball, throwing first. So now you can maybe have one of your coaches, someone standing around third base, working with this guy's fielding technique, or working with the first baseman on how to field, how to cover the bag, how to position himself, etc. The second baseman and the shortstop are working as another fungal. You hit a fungal to the shortstop. He works at throwing the ball to second base to start the double play, although we don't finish it. there's no throw to first, because the first base is engaged with getting the ball from the third baseman. The next time, so we do that. The next situation, we hit fungos to the third baseman. He's throwing home. Force play to the catcher again. So the catcher's working on getting a ball from the third baseman this time. The pitcher is working on covering first base. So another fungo hit. The fungo's to third base. The next guy hits a fungo to first base. The first baseman, we play the guy deep. We like to have first baseman deep. So he hits a long fungo to him, and the first baseman's fielding. He's learning how to feed the pitcher. We hit him left and right. He's learning how to get the ball to the pitcher. I like to have my guys get the ball to the pitcher 2 steps before they get to the base. So feed the pitcher, give him a lead, so he gets the ball and then can find the base. I don't want the pitcher getting the ball right when he gets to the base. And so what this is doing, every day when we work on this, and once a week, they're working on this play. It's another pitcher's fielding practice. At the same time now, the shortstop, the second baseman, is getting balls hit to him, and they're working on put-out plays here. This is the first one should have been second base. All right. And this one's a shortstop. Same thing, they're working on pivots. The next station, this is the last one I'll do. The rest are self-explanatory. Catcher's throwing to third base. So you have a guy just standing maybe from me to John away from home plate. I'm throwing to John. He's catching the ball, and he's throwing to third base. So the third baseman is learning how he gets in his regular position. Steal, boom. He's learning how to get to the base, cover, make the tag. Okay. At the same time this is happening, the first baseman we hit a ball to the second baseman, who's throwing to first. So that's his part of his infield practice. The shortstop in this here is getting a ball, so we hit the third fungo hitter. The first 2 fungo hitters, there's no fungo hitter for the catcher. You just have a thrower throwing to the catcher. The first fungo hitter hits to the second baseman. The second fungo is hitting to the pitcher. Comebackers to the pitcher, and what's he doing? He's throwing to who's covering second base here? Where are we? Station 3. From the pitcher, double play. So the shortstop is getting the ball from the pitcher. The shortstop's covering second. You understand what we're doing here? How this works? And in each one of these situations, and you go through all 9 here, John, you want to throw something in anytime, just feel free.
I'll just say, look guys, you guys all have cell phones. Zoom it up in there and see if you can grab it, because it's a great one. It's a great one.
And we do this once a week. It takes about maybe a half hour, 35, 40 minutes sometimes, depending on how much I want to say to people at the time. And the only thing I haven't figured out is what to do with the second baseman in this situation here. So he just got to stance by himself. What I've done, a lot of times I'll have an outfielder out there throwing balls, and he's working on his cutoff, how to field the cutoff and make the throw. But this in just a half an hour, you've covered almost every play that has to be made in an infield, just as part of practice. You might even want to do this just before a game. What else? These are the last things I'm going to throw in, and John's got some good, cool videos to show you. These are just some other infield enhancing skills that I've learned. The first one's great for young kids. It's a bounce drill. It's a great footwork development drill. Diamond baseball, and I'm sure other companies do. You can probably do it with tennis balls, but I think tennis balls bounce too hard. They've got this kind of a softer ball. I don't know what they call it. I like the ones that are yellow. And what we'll do is I'll just take a ball like this, I'll throw it up in the air like an arc softball pitch, almost like a slow pitch softball pitch. Fielder's back by let's go back by the drapes, Jim. All right. And say it's a bunch of kids. And I'll just toss one up here. All right, it might land right about here. Okay? What he's got to do is work his feet, and I want him to be in perfect fielding position. You're an infielder. Boom, and catch it at one hop, a short hop right here. So he's got to learn how to get his feet in position. It's kind of hard to show. I've done this in gyms. It's easier to show you this than
You guys got it. He
talk
throws
about
here.
it.
Boom, I move in the position there.
So if I throw it over here, bounces, he's got to get his feet in position to do that. Now, I say, okay, now get it on the first bounce. Now, I'll say 2 bounces. So I'll throw it up in the air now. It's going to bounce, bounce, and then the second bounce, he's going to have to field it. It gets really tough when you say third bounce. Because now the kids are learning, they're learning, and you know what, I'm not talking about where their feet should be. You know what happens? Kids find out where their feet should be. If you tell them what perfect fielding position looks like, here's, John's going to show you, all right? He's in perfect, that's it. You've done this, you've all done this, how you should look like when you field the ball. And I tell them, this is how I want you to, that's how I want you to field the ball. I don't want you in the first bounce catching it up here, like standing here. I want you in good fielding position and you wait till the ball gets there. Boom, short hop. But they're learning this drill. I mean, I've done it with so many young kids in camps. Great for footwork. They really learn how to do the footwork. Put cones up. Say John's right there. Let's say I've got, face the audience, John. This way, okay. Maybe see there's a cone right here. He's got a ball in his glove, all right? And I say, it's the backhand side. Go! He's got to run to that cone, do the field, turn, and throw. Boom. Maybe there's another cone back here. Now he's got to go to his backside. Boom. Go. He's got a ball in the glove. I don't have to hit him anything. He's got a ball in his glove, all right? Maybe one inside. So just set up cones in different parts where you really want them to work hard and just make them run. Go, go, go. Four corners hand drill. This is a really good one. I need four people here.
You guys, just really quickly, you know, Steve Springer talks about how, you know, he's this little guy and he can't play and all that. He was a stud. I mean, you know, maybe he won't go down in the Hall of Fame or anything, but don't think he didn't have tools and skills and all that stuff, because you don't get to where he got without it. So there's a ball right there behind you there, Steve. All right, so we got two of the four corners, right?
Right.
What are we doing, Coach?
First we're doing underhand feeds. All right, so this is to your partner. So boom, he would throw the ball
I might go that way.
to John, and then you'd go that way, but you would follow the ball. So you'd throw the ball,
I go this way or
boom,
whichever
you'd
way
follow
the
the ball.
box
So
is, right?
if Steve throws the ball to John, do it again. Start over here. Over John now. Okay, he's going to throw the ball, and he's going to follow it, take his place,
Follow
boom,
here.
and it just keeps going
Next
around.
guy's
And we're
going
working
around.
on the underhand throw. The next thing you can do is do the backhand flip. So, John, you start off here and follow the ball. Follow the ball.
And then I'm going this way.
Backhand flip. Right.
Going that way.
So now
He's
what
feeding
we're
this
working,
way.
and I'm doing this with my middle infielders. John's going to show you some other drills, but this is a great hands drill for middle infielders. I also want them to work on just the basic way to field the ball. How do you show you guys to go down on one knee and throw your second base pivot?
So
dropping
for
down your
us,
right side,
for
you're
us,
shortstop.
we don't drop to a knee, but we'll open up.
You'll get close.
And we'll rotate the hips.
And
to
you can
throw,
do that.
so-
You can do that right there. Just what John's doing right there. Just go around. And that one you don't have to follow the ball. You just throw the ball around.
Oh, we
And I'll
do
say
this.
reverse it, reverse, boom. Go the other way.
Going that way.
And I'd like to do this with the bit. You want to do this every day because you want your middle infielders to know each other. You want them to know where they like to get the ball. How they, if John keeps feeding the ball to Spring here, and he keeps getting them too high or too low, Spring says, "Hey, John, I want it right here. I want it right here." And so they're learning how to do that, to put the ball where it's supposed to be. And that's an everyday thing you can do, and really simple, and it does a lot of things with footwork. It does a lot of things with just feeding. It really helps to increase your double play skills.
When you guys are doing double plays also, make sure that your infielders come in low, right? And expect a bad throw. Because if they're expecting a throw right here and all of a sudden it's down by their feet and they're standing straight up, you can't get down. So you got to make sure that they come in low and use the bag for their protection, right? When I see kids playing catch, one of my biggest pet peeves is they just catch the ball and boom. You got to be working on getting rid of it. Nobody catches the ball and holds it. Lets the line out. Every ground ball you have to get rid of. So make sure that when your kids are playing catch, that they're getting the ball and getting it out of their hand as quick as they can. Every time they play catch, they're not just playing catch like this.
We got one last one. We do what I call 60 seconds of hell. You need a stopwatch. John's facing the window.
60 seconds of hell.
John's facing the window. Get a little bit. Right about there is good. That's good. You're right. Good. I've got a ball behind him. I'm throwing the ball. I'm throwing bouncers off the wall. Right. Oh, I'm flipping it right back to you. I'm going again. Do it for 60 seconds. These guys will feel it in their legs. And they're also working on backhands, forehands. Because the feeder, I know when it's my turn, he's gonna really make me work. So what am I trying to do to you? I'm gonna make you work, right? And it's working on forehands, backhands, you know, doing one-timers.
You guys up? You guys ready?
Yeah.
A couple other quick things here. I don't know if you guys know it, but the animosity towards the Americans this weekend. You hear those Canadian guy coming in at us really quick about, and then here's another guy saying some Japanese guy's going to be better than Babe Ruth. Are you kidding me? Really? Well, I want to tell Andre, you guys make LeChon Snow. I want you to post this here. I'll give you another statistic. All right? There's more Canadians in the NHL than there is in the MLB. So there it is. All right, so focus on what you do well. All right, a couple really quick things. I'm a big believer that when we turn double plays, if we can teach them to flip effectively, that's a great thing. All right, why? Why? How many of you guys have ever gone to like a kid's party and they have an egg toss drill? Want to stand up for me? You guys know the egg toss drill. We take a step, we flip it to each other, we back up. You ever see any of them pick up that egg and go like this? Hell no, they don't. You know why they don't? Because this. That works, doesn't it? Now, I don't have all those pro guys. If my second baseman's running to turn a double play like Baez does, shit. I'm like, what are you doing, man? He ain't going to catch it. Ball come out here and we won't turn it. So for me, it's about simple, right? I can flip here. Here it is. I can play egg toss drill all day long, but then I can go over here and I can play egg toss drill even more. And then if I come over here, all I have to do is add a little shuffle and egg toss drill, right? You teach your young guys how to flip, you got a chance at least getting one out. Otherwise, they do some crazy shit like, now this is the one I like the best.
Yeah.
Right? Right? So that's the first thing. Second thing is this. And this is the best invention ever. But before there was a leather glove that cost you 40 euros, you know what we used? Piece of plywood cut out. I take my hand, or a little elastical. And I went through 3 samples before I finally figured out you can't use hickory. You can't just use a piece of wood because it'll crack. You need plywood, right? But then here we go. I think, throw it to me like you mean it, baby. Oh, Jesus Christ. Come on.
Come on, Bo.
All right, come on now. Give it to me. A lot of lights here. Come on, give me some on there. Give me some on there. Let's go. I believe you should be able to be with this glove. Come on, give it a... Come on, you got an arm. You're in the major leagues, for God's sake. Come on, let's
Throw it to the window.
Come on, I'm there, baby. I'm there. I'm telling you, you can't get it past me. You don't need a glove. This is all you should need. Right? And it does everything that all those great people tell you to do. You don't have to talk. Just give them the glove. Best under-taught infield principle. Stay in front of the ball. We got the luxury of watching too many major leaguers. And those guys are good, man. Every other level, get in front of the ball. You got a chance. All right, last thing. For the upper level guys, if I'm going to turn double play, this was taught to me by Robin Yount. You guys know who he is? Robin Yount, only guy to be a ML MVP at short and in the outfield, infield outfield MVP. Hurt his arm after his MVP shortstop. Brewers put him in center field, became a center fielder. All right? Routine double play. There's second base, I'm the shortstop, routine double play. Routine double play, I'm not going to field center line, I'm going to field throwing side. I'm going to field over here. Why? Because from here, I can get into the throwing slot easy. From here, I got to do this one. So the major league guys, you'll see, boom, they'll be here, and they'll get into that throwing slot. Once again, it has to be a routine play, and it probably doesn't need to be discussed with your 12-year-old. But you get a guy that can play, maybe as he gets 17, 18, national team guy, routine ball, they're fielding and throwing side. Right here, they can go from here, boom, right into the throwing action. So that's a good thing, right? All right, so let's go to some drills. I'll go through these quickly because I know you guys know them, but I want to just show it to them show you guys this because instead of sitting there and stretching, our infielders go through this stuff. Maybe.
There we go.
So that's going to be our infielders getting ready, our outfielders getting ready. Teach them how to go under there. Pretty easy, alternate step under.
It's good use of the hurdles too, because your track team's really bad, so they don't need
Yeah,
those.
yeah. You know what? The son of a bitch started locking up his hurdles. Could you believe that? I said, come on, MJ, what are you doing? Well, no, it's for those general students come in sometimes and they just start moving that stuff around. So now he gave me a key, but.
There you go. Let's go.
Hey, Spring, if I'm going to have an infield coach, what's his last name have to sound like? I mean, it's not Springer. It's not O'Connell. It's not Vodenlich.
Rodriguez.
Hernandez. Armando Hernandez. He's my guy. This is salsa step. All right?
If I could have played short, you would have heard of me.
All right. Rockettes. Once again, these are very easy foot patterns. Helps in flexibility, gets our guys warmed up, gives them a little rhythm, coordination. Once again, pretty simple deal. I don't expect you guys to say, wow, I've never seen this before. All right, let's go here. Infielders, you gotta get the ball in and out. We never practice it, right? I remember watching basketball. You go to, my wife was a college basketball player. She ended up being a college or a high school coach. First drill they do in every practice, they do these ball handling drills. That's a great idea, right? Why don't we do that stuff? So if you watch, this will be behind the back, figure eight, and scissors all together in one video. Behind the back as quick as you can go. Figure eight. And then beating again, scissors. All right, easy drill. How long does it take? 2 minutes every day. I'm not going to go into throwing a lot, but this is just off of what they do. Our favorite drill, I can't believe it, is a quarterback drill. If we got our guys running and our infielders actually acting like quarterbacks, man, it's amazing. And I think it's good for a lot of things. Number one, you're throwing, our guys are having to catch the ball on the run. Our other guys are throwing and they have to throw to a spot and they gotta get some feel. And here's the thing, these guys love this drill. And guess what they're doing? They're running balls out. If we just say, hey guys, we're gonna do some sprints now, let's line them up on a sprint, they're like, oh, all right, come on, let's go. We put them in this drill, then they have a great time. They have a great time. And they have to adjust and move on the ball. They start pretty slow. You can see some of those guys are throwing them behind. There's one almost at the camera. Pretty easy drill, right? And then you could change where they're throwing. Once again, it's a throwing drill, but it's also a catching drill. Young guys, how many of you guys are dealing with like 7, 8, 9 beanbags are great? You can throw them beanbags all day long. You know, you can chuck it at them, they'll catch it. Tennis balls they love. They love getting hit with tennis balls. Just throw it to them and tell them to catch it. You know why I became a catcher? It's because my brother was so pissed at me all the time, he'd throw things at me. And at some age I said, well, why keep running away? I'll just catch it and throw it back to him. So I just caught it and threw it back to him. He also Another great thing, the movie Miracle, they show how they train their goaltender. What was the drill you had over here? Same drill. He
Yeah.
throws the ball past it,
Second
he bounces
down.
and he catches it. Great drill.
And I think the tennis ball drill is awesome. Because when I had my 12 and under team, when my kids was playing, I would bring my tennis racket to practice and I'd hit them ground balls. There's zero fear factor because it doesn't hurt. And you have to have soft hands or it's going to bounce out. So you got to give a little bit of give or it's going to bounce out. Tennis ball is awesome for ground ball. And then you can hit it as high as you can and have competition, you know, and they love the pop-ups and great tool.
How many of you guys know a club champion in tennis? Anyone? Anyone know like a great tennis? I do. Springer's club champion in tennis at his home place, so that's a good thing. I got like 20 other drills. I just want to show you what we start with. If you look at this guy, you'll see it's a tee. It's just the top of the tee, okay? And we always put it in between our legs, and that's our center line. And it does two things for it. It allows them to understand that we're going to field midline or glove side, and it also makes them understand that we got to have the hands out in front, right? All right. And finally, what it does is it gives them a foot pattern. So if that tee's extending, let's say right underneath your chin, that's where this tee. So my hands have to be in front of that. Young guys, what do they want to do? They want to just bend at the waist because they don't have any stamina or leg strength. So this makes sure they get their hands out in front. And then it also, for us, this is how we teach fielding. It's right foot to glove, left foot to target, throw. So it's right, small step, all right, stride, step, go. So after he fields it, this foot should be going here. It shouldn't be swinging around near the gate. We want to gain a little ground with our throwing foot. A lot of guys, you'll see pro guys getting in here, and they'll do all kinds of things. Once again, I'm dealing with a guy who's not that talented, so I need him to be consistent with his feet, consistent with his hands.
When you're an infielder, you want to always be moving toward your target. So you're cutting down the time and the distance. Just think about it. You're cutting the time down and cutting the distance.
Let's go through a couple of these. This is just a tee, and then our coaches are throwing them forehand picks. The hands are moving through the ball most of the time. So that's how we do it. I've never known anyone who picks backwards. So
Yeah, with younger kids though, they might get the ball back here and move backwards, and that's why
We're
it's
trying
such
to
a good
reach the
drill. You
ball
want
and
to go
pick the ball.
forward, always move and finish.
Okay.
You're going to
We might
finish
even
your
do-
play.
here's let me go to a cone drill. Like I said, I have 20. I'm just trying to highlight ones. Here's a cone drill. We start with the cone in front of them, and what they're going to do is try to get to the left of the ball, or left of the cone, and we're just trying to get them around the ball a little bit. And we do that for two reasons, right? To create momentum to first, and to make sure we're fielding the ball on glove side. So it's a pretty simple drill. We're just trying to see some good feet around that cone a little bit, flip the ball. I'll skip that one. I like last drill we're going to go through. All right, so Coach talked about that box drill or that four corners drill. We call it a box drill because it's a box, okay? There's 4 spots in that box. There's a coach in the middle, all right? The first cone, all right? He's throwing on the run. Why do we throw on run? Because we need to do it.
You were at the clinic in Malouse last year. I showed this drill when we were in the gym.
Okay, so what are those guys doing? When they get the ball, they're moving to the inside of the baseline, and they're throwing on the run. That's all that group is doing. Okay? Everyone understand that so far? On this cone, if you're on this
You've got
cone,
a guy in a pickoff. You got a guy picked off between the bases. You're working on that kind of a throw. Excuse me.
if you're on this cone, there's 4 cones. This cone is always a backhand. Okay? We can talk about how we want to backhand, but, all right? On this cone, we're always doing a short hop.
forehand.
Short hop. It's a short, yeah.
Short hop.
It's the one right down in the middle. We're going now with two hands. Some guys go one hand. Either way is fine. And then the last one, we're going to try to get them in a position where they dive, have to get up and throw. So the fourth cone is a dive cone. All right? And then this is how we put it all together. So I'm in the middle. Throwing on the run, he throws it back to me, I throw him a backhand. He throws it diagonally. Throws it back to me, we got a dive play. He throws it up the line, we got a short hop. He goes diagonally, throwing on the run. Throwing on the run, throws it to that guy, throws it back to the coach, backhand. Backhand, diagonal throw, throws it to the partner there, throws it back to me, we got a dive play. He's going to dive up, he's going to get up, he's going to throw it down the line. This guy throws it back, we got a pick, short hop pick. All right? Pretty simple, right? We got 4 cones. The throws here are straight, then we got a diagonal throw. You guys all with me? Right? Here's the thing. You have 4 cones, you could decide what's happening at all those cones. We'll substitute a lot of different things. You could do a pop-up, where the outfielders have to get behind it and throw. All that stuff's good. Last drill, star drill, we call it a star drill. I want you to watch it. Here's the order. 1 coach. Why 1 coach? Because I know you guys got 1 coach. Right? Ground ball to first baseman. Double, all right? Ground ball to first baseman. Ground ball to second baseman. Ground ball to third. Ground ball to short. Ground ball to third. Start over. Ground ball to first. Ground ball to second. Ground ball to third. Ground ball to short. Ground ball to third. Start over. Here's how it looks. First you'll see the fungo hitter, then you'll see the team. There's Armando, he's got the best fungo, he's the best fungo hitter in Wisconsin. They tried to sell me the fungo machine, but I said I got 3 Mexican guys to do that. And typically we won't have a coach feeding, but for this drill I figured it'd be better to keep the ground ball to first. All right, here's how it looks. Ground ball to first, double play. Ground ball to second, double play. Ground ball to third, allows that shortstop to recover. Ground ball to short, double play. Ground ball, there it is, to second again, double play. Ground ball to third. Once again, here's the ground ball. Now third base, last one.
Nice.
Here it is, started all over again. Ground ball to first, double play. Ground ball to second, double play. Ground ball to third, you gotta go to third now, double play. Ground ball to short, double play. Now we go back to third. Now this is tag the base and go to 1. And then we start over again. Right? Everyone's moving.
That's 30 seconds.
And the key here is, the reason I wanted to bring this one is because I know where you're at. One guy hitting, right? Most of the time. So for me to show you our scramble drill that has 3 fungo hitters in it and a couple guys catching at different spots doesn't really work for you. Good drill, helps you do it. This is a double play only drill. Questions?
Okay, I guess that's it. Chris?
On infield play, I feel like a lot of guys are fielding ball. I think teaching like fielding ball in the middle of your feet is tricky because I see a lot of guys, they feel at the moment they feel they already kind of starting this movement, they have to catch the ball on the right side of their body. So, and the other thing is like, you see all the, because you talk about old middle fielders or Latinos, how about trying to learn what...
Not any of mine are, but I'm saying at their level they might be, but
at
no.
the best level.
Yeah, yeah.
So why don't we maybe try to see what to do right?
because they have exceptional skills. Exceptional skills. Look, the ground ball is easiest to field glove side of center line. If here's my center line, here's where my glove goes down. That's easy. That's it. That's where it goes.
So it's tricky.
That's why this is tricky. So do I want my guys freaking catching it here and flipping here and doing stuff? Do I want my second baseman? I don't know if you watched the college or the World Series last year. There's a play, and it happens 5 times a year. Baez is playing deep at second for the Cubs, and the ball's hit to the third baseman, Bryant. He chucks the ball, and Baez is running to second base. He catches it, runs through the base, and throws on the run. And that's a great play. My guys can't do it. So once again, what I'm saying is, what do I want for my middle infields? I want to anticipate contact, get to the base early, all right? React to the ball. That's what I'm teaching. So I don't know if you're saying we should teach in the field here.
No, my point is like, I feel like we teach from the start to young kids, catch with 2 hands. And my experience, I work with really young kids up to adults. We create some flow that never go away, which is like they always kind of are anchored.
For me, I don't like. I've heard pro guys talk about this. I don't like this. I think this is a defensive position. We teach glove out, palm up. And the reason I teach that way, and once again, it's not the only way. It's not what all the pro guys do, but here's why we teach it. Okay, palm up, glove down. This is why we teach it. A couple things. Number one, it's my cover hand, which transitions into a throw. But more importantly, if it takes a bad hop, I just slap it down. It doesn't hit me here. When I'm going here, and then it pops up and hits me here, it doesn't happen in a major league field. Have you ever been on a major league field? Man, that's a lot better than anything you're ever going to play on. All right? Just like going golfing. You go golf where the pro guys golf, that's pretty nice. And that's pretty nice. That's not like the goat pasture that I play golf on sometimes. Right? So I agree with you, but I have a reason for why I believe this is a good way to teach. All right? I'll set up like this. I'll teach this for the most part, okay? But I'll also allow them to be athletic. If there's a couple guys that aren't so much two-handed fielders, of course, balls to the left, balls to the right, and don't try to get to them.
Plus on the ground ball, you always want to try and round the ball because you're not just going to catch it, you have to throw it, right? And that's going to cut down the time to get to first base. And, then your infielders develop a game clock. Like not every shortstop has a plus arm. Like David Eckstein looked like he was throwing a wet bar of soap across the infield, but it got there every time because his instincts were so good on getting in position to throw.
Are you guys following this conversation? It's a great question, Chris, because it's a higher level thinking. All right? I'll tell you this. What am I looking for from an infielder? I want a guy who always seems to be getting through the ball. I had a guy with a puss arm, shortstop, horrible arm, but every time he fielded, he looked like he was going here. I was like, wow. His throw, by the time he got done with it, was short. Then I got guys who want to sit back in here, just go laterally, catch it back deep in the hole, and they want to use their arm. All right, which one was better? The guy was always coming through that, always. Okay, so I'm a big believer that somehow good infielders are always moving through the ball a little bit. What I hate, absolutely, we got showcases in the United States. This is the one here. I don't know what they're teaching at this back step thing. Why are you moving away from the damn ball? You're going to move right or left, you're going to move forward. That's all we're going to do. And the showcase guy will always do this thing here. And then, because they need time to let the ball get to it.
They want to look good.
Bam!
They want to look good doing it. And we're
I
going to
don't know
have
where that came from. I don't know who's teaching it. It's probably from California. No, it's probably from Canada.
Okay, all right. I don't want to cut John off here, and we can talk about this forever. Because I disagree with one of the things he said, and I wanted to talk about that with Chris. We can talk about that later. So, and I don't want to take away time from any of our other speakers. And so we're going to end it right here. Thanks for your attention. And I'm going to bring up Stefan. You ready? Or you got to make some changes?
Go
there?
more.
You're good? All right. So thanks a lot, guys.